Second lesson on areas. So last period we did triangles, squares, rectangles. And there was one message that I wanted to get through to you. I wonder if any of you remember it. When we're finding the area, we need a formula, and that formula will have in it a base and a height. And what is it about the base and height? They must be perpendicular. Good. So, generally 2 dimensions. We will call one of them the base, or B, and the other one H. And B and H must be perpendicular, which we shorten into that pretty picture like that. All right. So that's what we should have got out of last time. So today we're going to look at some of the little bit trickier shapes. The first ones we're going to look at is a rhombus and parallelogram. They're the same formula because they're basically the same shape. All right? A rhombus has all equal sides, and a parallelogram has a pair of parallel equal sides. But we need a base and a height. So the base is quite obvious where we want to put that. It's on the bottom, like this. Ooh. The height is where? Good. A dot, 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 dot line. Like that, because it must be at right angles. Now, the interesting thing about these shapes, if I cut on that height line and take this triangle and put it over here, I will get, in this case, what? A rectangle, and in this case, a rectangle. All right? And what's the formula for a rectangle? Rectangle, base times height. Same as a square, and the same as a rhombus or a parallelogram. The only thing that's changed is that it's not one of the sides that's the height, it's the perpendicular height of the shape. So we have to have been given that. All right, so if we've got this one, I should have 2 dashes on it because it's not equal. And we've been told that this is 5 centimetres, this is 6 centimetres, and this is 5 centimetres. All right. They're giving us choices. Now, we had choices the other day. We need to know which ones to use. So in this case, we don't want the 6. It's not one of the ones we're at right angles with. So the area will equal base times height, formula first, 5 times 6, substitution second, 30 centimetres squared for area. All right, so that one's pretty basic. The next one is a trapezium. Anybody want to show me in the air what a trapezium looks like? No, not like that. Can draw it a lot of ways, all right? There's 2 ways that are quite common. One is this one, and one is this one. All right? These could be equal length and all those sorts of things, but they don't have to be. So we need to look carefully at what information we're given on our worksheet or in our test to make sure we use the right things. Again, we want the base and the height. So we need to know the height and the base. The height and the base. The problem is it is not a rectangle. So we also need to know the other side, A. And what we're going to do with these A and B is we're going to find the average of those two sides. All right? When we find the average, anybody remember how you find the average of two numbers? You add them together and divide by two numbers. All right, so we're going to find the average of these two sides, and then we're going to multiply them by the height. So we're going to say that's the base and that's the height. So the formula is going to be A equals a half of A plus B times the height. That and that are the same thing. All right, so let's have a look. If we've got this one, right? They could have a number on here. It doesn't matter. We're not interested in that number. We're only interested in the two parallel sides, the 6 and the 10, and the perpendicular one. Always the perpendicular one. So A equals a half A plus B times H, formula. Substitute a half of 6 plus 10 times H, 7, equals 6 plus 10 is 16. A half of that is 8. 8 times 7 is 56 meters squared. Okay, so they can put extra measurements on it. You just have to find the right ones. One more. This particular shape has a special name. Anybody know what it is? It's called an isosceles trapezium because those two sides are equal. Does make any difference? We're still not interested in this side. It's sloping. We're only interested in the straight sides. They might be, remember the diagram might be skewy on your page, but those are the ones we're interested in. So formula, A equals a half of the two parallel sides, A and B, times the height. So a half of 10 plus 8, doesn't matter which way around they go, times 4. 10 plus 8 is 18. A half of that is 9. 9 times 4 is 36 centimetres squared. All right, so we're going to practice these ones today.